Well, I wake up in the morning, put my boots on like everybody does, grab my hat as I hit the door. But there's something different, there's something more. I've got bullets in my pocket and a rifle in my hand. As I roll outside the wire, I know it might be my last stand. All the thoughts inside my head are mine and mine alone. The mission that's before me and the ones I leave at home. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow, may death fear me. And when I run into the fire, Lord, may your hand lead and guide me. 'Cause I've got bullets in my pocket and a rifle in my hand. As I roll outside the wire, I know it might be my last stand. All the thoughts inside my head are mine and mine alone. The mission that's before me and the ones I leave at home. If I fall, carry me home, shed a tear, but no, I'm not alone. For those who fought and fell before me will be waiting to welcome me home. 'Cause I've got bullets in my pocket and a rifle in my hand. As I roll outside the wire, I know it might be my last stand. All the thoughts inside my head are mine and mine alone. The mission that's before me and the ones I leave at home. The ones I leave at home.
Happy Monday night, folks. Welcome to the True Patriot Outfitters Dock Talk podcast. We are back here. It is Monday night. We've got the top anglers from the Colorado Kayak Bassmasters that just qualified for the national championship. We got all three of these guys in here. Some great stories about to go down here. Let's go ahead and kick this pig. Welcome to the show, folks. TPO Dock Talk Podcast. We are coming to you live tonight from the Colorado Kayak Bassmasters event that we just got done with. Man, it was an awesome event. We had exactly 30 anglers. So CKB is sending three of the state's best are going to go down to Fort Worth, Texas. Lake Fork is where they're going to duke it out down there, man. It's going to be an awesome deal. Hey, want to go ahead and pay some bills here real quick here just to make sure. All of the amazing supporters of the True Patriot Outfitters are rolling down beneath here. Obviously, the very first being the Romans Warrior Foundation. Without them, we don't exist. Field Ops Division, that's us. That's the TPO. We're working with them there. Get out, give them a follow there. Check out the Global War on Terror's Wall of Remembrance. When it's coming to your neck of the woods, make a point to go see it. It is a life changer for certain. A couple others we're going to roll down through here as well. Amped Outdoors, lithium batteries. This company has been behind the TPO and our mission since literally, I think it's going on 3.5 years, 4 years now. They've been with us from the start, man, for this whole thing. Another company identical to them, Vicious Fishing. These guys have been supporting the TPO and giving it, make sure we got fish in line for any and everybody when they come out with us. New to supporting with us here, of course, is hang on a sec here. There we go. Eagle Claw Fishing. We're new with those guys as of this last year. Super stoked to be a part of Eagle Claw, Laser Sharp, Trocar. They are an amazing organization that has been around, I think, since like dirt was invented. If you've been fishing for any amount of time, you've been using Eagle Claw stuff for sure. Of course, All Terrain Tackle, Bass Jigs. I've been with All Terrain, I think, the longest out of any of my sponsors out there, and they've supported our mission. When they heard what we were going to be doing, switching from the main focus of tournament fishing over to the service work, they were all on board. And coming with them, of course, was Blackfish Gear. You can't choose the weather, but you can choose your gear. They keep us dry and warm out there. Another new one for us here that's been supporting us and helping us get through is Dubro Fishing, man. These guys, Dewey Soft Plastics, we've started to rely on those. If you're looking for a balance between durability and lifelike performance, check out Dewey Baits, man. You can't go wrong. All right, so we paid the bills. We got that completely underway. Now, one other thing, as a promise that I made to a very, very good friend of mine, was that on each one of these episodes, bear with me as I'm typing something out, each one of these episodes, we were going to send out a reminder. What that reminder is, if you know of a veteran, if you know of a first responder, if you know of an active military member or former first responder, or anything related to any of those likes, and you haven't spoke to them in a while, reach out, say, hey, touch base, do a buddy check, see how they're doing, make sure they're doing all right. Make sure that they know that you're there. Make sure that they're aware of the fact that you're paying attention and that you see them and that you care about them. And I'm going to read you something here, that this is something we do at the end of each one of our field ops events, each one of our TPO outings. It's called the Spartans Pledge. All right. And this is a big deal. Do some research on it. Check it out. It's a very simple saying, but this is something I want to bring to you to make sure that you understand what is one of the major primary missions of the True Patriot Outfitters. That is to reduce that veteran suicide rate out there. The Spartans Pledge reads, I will not take my own life by my own hand until I talk to my battle buddy first. My mission is to find a mission to help my warfighter family. It's that simple. You take that pledge, you make that pledge to one another, and you see it through. And that is basically at the heart of what we're doing. You saw Jonathan Wells at the beginning there. He is one of our anchor artists of the Stop 22 Tour. Go check it out at Stop 22 Tour. You'll see that out there, and that's right at the heart of what we're trying to get out there, man. All right, so we've paid the bills. We've talked a little bit about some of that stuff. It's a crazy time right now with social media blasting on all cylinders out there. So let's go ahead and break that up with some fishing, man. Let's go ahead and get into a little bit of fishing here. And there we go. We got that. We're going to go ahead and bring him in right out the gates. Our 2025 Colorado State Champion. And wait till you hear this story, folks. This is he's done some historical things this year in the state of Colorado, and I think just across fishing in general. I don't think you could post this, but let's go ahead and bring him in back to the show here, Mr. Paul Roth. Paul, what's happening, champ?
Hey, thanks for having me.
You bet, brother.
I'm back.
That's right. That's right. And this time we're going to dig in a little bit to more of the season. We're going to spend some time chatting with you there for sure. But you got a couple buddies here that you're going to be running with. The other two anglers that are qualified to go down to 2025 BASSmaster Kayak National Championship in Texas. This guy's no stranger to the show or going, because he was the state champ last year, coming in second place at Pueblo Reservoir, Mr. Matt Arledge. Matt, how are you, sir?
Hey.
Welcome back, man.
Uh-oh. I lost audio on you.
Did you? We can still hear you.
Hear you.
We'll let Matt get that figured out there. Oh, there he goes. How about now? No? We'll let him work that part out, and we'll see. We'll get him back in here. All right. It is with great pleasure. His microphone's working, I'll tell you that. Oh, there he is. Can you hear us?
Maybe now?
Yep.
Okay. Sorry, I don't know what's happening. It was totally working until I muted myself, and then it decided not to.
It's technology, man. A little Murphy's Law action.
Hazards of a live show. Sorry.
That's right. That's okay. No worries, man. No worries at all.
Make an entrance.
That's right. That's right. Well, and like I said before, you were no stranger whatsoever to this. I mean, you tend to wait to the big dance, and then you're like Mr. Clutch. You show up last year, Horsetooth. You win the state championship. This year, you were closing in on Paul there. You come in second place. That's an awesome deal, man. You're going back to the big dance.
It's pretty exciting for sure. I'm still a little irritated about losing the ball, but I think everyone did, so it's okay.
That's right. That's right. Well, this next guy we're going to bring in here, third place, and I'll tell you what, man, you want to talk about long overdue. And not to steal thunder, but I think the largest applause happened from our group of anglers when they announced this guy's name in third place, going to represent Colorado for the Colorado Kayak Bassmasters, Mr. Ron Solberg. Ron, welcome to the show, brother.
Well, thanks for having me on. It's definitely a first.
That's right. That's right. Well, and I told Strawbridge he was going to try to co-host with us tonight. I'm like, hey, we got a guy that's a little even less tech savvy than you, Strawbridge. So, if he can do it, you can do it. You look like an old pro, though, Ron. You got this down the first try.
That used to be my job. I was tech support, but once I retired, I forgot all that stuff.
Well, and it changes so fast, right, Ron? Yeah. I mean, I'm former IT.
Right.
Awesome stuff, Ron. Something that not many people know about, but that we are damn glad and proud of. You are a United States Air Force veteran. Is that correct?
Yes.
How long did you serve, sir?
4 years.
Outstanding.
I got let's see, when did I get out? 1970.
You got out in 1970?
Yeah, I just served 4 years and 3 years up at Maine at Loring Air Force Base, and then I was in Taiwan for a year, and then I went TDY to Vietnam for a while.
Ron, you make me feel young again, brother. This is so awesome. I hope I am half as spry as you. Do you mind if I ask your age, man? Do you mind?
77.
77.
Yeah, no, I can't believe it myself. But...
Brother, you're kicking ass. I love it. You are doing well. That is awesome stuff. Well, cool. So you guys, you go down to Pueblo Reservoir down here, and I guess let's go ahead and just start with the top, and we'll work our way around robin here. Paul, when did you get there for practice, or is Pueblo kind of like a local lake to you, or?
No, I actually live in northern Colorado in Firestone, so.
Oh, you're up in Firestone. That's right.
I've only fished Pueblo like pre-fishing in tournaments, so.
Okay.
But been there. Yeah, obviously we go there every year for tournaments, so I've been there several times.
Good stuff. And so, did you get down there early, or did you get down just a couple days? Or
Jason and I went down there Thursday night, and then I pre-fished Friday morning and tournament on Saturday.
You saw what you needed to see, right?
Yeah, sometimes you can only get so much from pre-fishing.
right?
If you go week after week, I'm not sure that helps sometimes.
Like too much information type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
So
sure.
was it history that told you to go where you went west, or was it a gut feeling? Because I got to be honest, dude, if you were to tell me, and I hadn't been there, that you fished a buzzbait all freaking day long at Pueblo Reservoir and won the damn thing with it, I would do so many variations of bullshit that I would be blue in the face, because it's Pueblo Reservoir, it's Colorado. That doesn't happen here. So what was it, a spidey sense, or is it just that year for you, man, where you're just following the gut and getting where you needed to go?
I got a really quick response that day. I had a popper tied on. I had I had a buzz bait, of course, and I had a walking bait. And I picked up a buzz bait because I initially right off the ramp saw some grass. And I think my third cast of pre-fishing, I caught an 18.
Wow.
And that told me, and then I started throwing the buzzbait around, obviously, because that worked, and started catching some smallmouth off the rocks, seemed like everywhere on pre-fishing, and then it died like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. I couldn't get a bite on a topwater after that, and that really led to my decision that next morning. I was like, well, I don't have anything great besides I caught a good one on a buzzbait and some other fish that day, so I decided I was going to find grass and throw a buzzbait, and that's what I was going to hang my hat on because that's the only good response I had. So it made my decision really easy.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that when you're having a season like you've had, the next decision is always the right one. You know what I mean? And you believe in your decision making so well that it's kind of those self-fulfilling prophecies, right? I mean, you will it into existence almost, in those cases. Let's talk about this season. You are and correct me if I'm wrong here, but you are the first ever angler in Colorado Kayak Fishing Club's history to win both AOIs, multi-species and bass. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
So you got the AOI for both of those. You wrap that up. You wrapped up the 2025 state championship here and sending your way there. And you jumped in, 2 tournaments with CKB this year?
Three total tournaments. Yeah.
3. You won Trinidad. Mm-hmm. And what were the other 2 that you were in?
I blanked at Horsetooth.
Okay. like everybody did.
And I won the state championship. So.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
awesome.
Any day.
Heck yeah. Yeah. 0 to 0, back to hero. Awesome stuff, man. Listen, this year, I mean, whatever you did, how do you, like we were talking off air, how do you beat that, right? I mean, what's the next goal from here?
I'm not sure. Just try to have as much fun as possible. It's really the only thing I got left, I think.
Right. Well, I got a goal for you. Go to Texas and whoop their ass down there and bring home that national championship to Colorado.
I'm excited. I took a top 10 down there in a BASSmaster regional, and I think I could have done better. So I think I know where I want to go. I think I know the time of year if it all works out.
That's
I
awesome.
feel like I got a chance. Maybe that's just stupid confidence at this point, but
I'm not betting against you. I'll tell you that shit. I'm going to trust your information way faster than I'm going to trust anything else from that. Well, joining you down there is going to be a guy that's he's no stranger to going down to the big dance. You went down last year as our state champ, Mr. Arledge, and now you're going to be heading to Fork. What Pueblo? What I saw you, I guess, on Friday for a little bit. You were looking at the area. I should have known that when you didn't come there Saturday morning, I should have got out of there and got away, because it's like, okay, he doesn't want to come down here. What was the game plan going into that?
I fished that area in kind of October timeframe before for a CKFC event, down by the dam, and have done okay. I know that that time of year can be pretty tough. I think we were posting on Facebook about what we thought total length would be and those kind of things. And I said, everyone's real hopeful, obviously, but because Alex smoked them there, was it earlier this year? Something like that. Had 85 inches or 86 inches. So, well, guys, that's May. It's a totally different story. And figured top somewhere in there would have 70 to 75 inches. And, winter would break 80 just because someone always finds fish, even if it's a tough day out there. And, fish down by the dam on Friday. And I think the biggest one I caught like barely broke 15, and the other ones were like 12 to 14. So I kind of thought, well, I could make top 5, ballpark-ish, or I could try and win the darn thing and throw a Hail Mary. So opted to go somewhere else and hope for the best. Kind of kept my pattern in the back of my head of, I was fishing points, not super deep, like 5 to 10 feet with a jig and catching smallmouth. And I figured that would at least repeat around the lake because the smallmouth are pretty aggressive. So worst case, I'd end up with 60 inches or something like that.
Right.
So opted for, obviously my far east end of the lake. I went west of there, found some areas with grass, and that was kind of my Saturday. I started out catching a few smallmouth, and then lucked into a few things on buzzbait and frog. And actually the funniest, probably will irritate anybody who was in 4th place that could have taken my spot, but threw my buzzbait out there over some grass and kind of backlashed a little bit. But man, that was the absolute right cast. I'm not going to, let it sink and clean out. I'll just reel back in. About halfway back through that cast is when my big fish hit. And I was like, okay, that was a smart move. And then was playing around that cove and throwing the buzzbait again and backlashed again. And this time I was like sitting there picking it out. And as I'm picking it out, my line started zipping the other way. And so the fish just ate it on the fall. And that wasn't a monster. It was 14 or 15 inches. So my buzzbait fish were lucky. And then ended up with a couple frogfish because there's grass out there. Got to fish grass with a frog. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah, man. And I love hearing these stories of buzzbaits and frogs and this stuff, playing in Colorado at one of our fisheries. I mean, it was, that's comforting to hear, because I'll be honest, thinking that it's just a Ned rig and drop shot game, that really wears on your head after a while. 'Cause it's like, I didn't get into bass fishing to fish like that. I do that because because I'm tired of handing money away. I'm tired of buying fishing rods for you guys.
I haven't caught a single fish on a Ned rig or a drop shot all year.
That's good. That's good.
You have hope. You don't have to use that stuff.
That's good. And I don't mind it now. I have it in the arsenal. I can throw it. I'm starting to appreciate it a little better. But when left to my own devices, you saw where I went. I went to the dam. I grabbed crankbaits, and I started working there. It just so happened that on the south end, they ran away. They decided not to come back on Saturday like they were on Friday, but that's okay. I would have been in the 70 plus range had I fished clean. I did not, but it was all from the area you saw me sitting in, Matt. Because there's those weeds all over the place, and just playing each one of those weed piles and picking them apart. There were fish, I had my bites. I just was stupid on 3. 6-pound test line can kiss my toe. I set the thing like I had, 30-pound braid on a jig is how I set it. And surprisingly enough, it snapped on the set. And I literally out loud said to my kayak, "What are you doing? What are you doing? What was that?" Sitting there talking to myself like an idiot. Well, coming in third place here, you know, any other time usually isn't a huge celebratory deal, but you get a shield with the CKB, so there's enough to be, excuse me, thankful for. And when you're going against the anglers that you go against at the CKB events, third place is something to be damn proud of. I got a third place plaque sitting right behind me here that I was pretty, you know, thankful for. But how you get there, Mr. Solberg, talk to us about your day. I mean, because you had something take place that was a sign from the fish gods, brother, that it was going to be your day.
That's for sure. I usually am like you were talking about, throwing the Ned rig and the drop shot, but I decided I got to start doing different things because those tactics weren't getting it done. So I think I told you guys this story at the lake, but I dug a whopper plopper out of a bush when I was pre-fishing at Chatfield. And I had that along and I tied it on. And when I was pre-fishing on Saturday and Friday, and I caught a few on it. And so that's what I was throwing. I was throwing what is it? Here, let's see what I got. This guy. That's the lure. And then what happened is I threw it out one time and I got a double hookup on it. And it was I think a 15 and a 14 inch or something like that at once. And I knew, I says, oh, this has got to be my day. And and then I caught the other one on a chatterbait. But I should have probably thrown like a frog over the top of those weeds, because what I was doing is fishing the weed lines, just staying a little bit out from the weed lines and throwing it in there. And there was like a log sticking out of the water, and they were hanging around by that log. But it sure was an experience, I'll say that. So, I was myself.
Thanks, Matt. That whopper plopper, Ron, is that thing chartreuse or is that a bone color?
It's yellow.
So it is.
Yellow. Can you see it?
And you were catching largies on that?
Yeah. They were nailing it. They were hammering it. So I was reeling it across there, and then what I do is as I'm reeling it, I twitch the rod just a little bit, and it makes it like splash up.
Right.
And they would hit it. And I got one that was almost up to the side of the kayak, and it came up there and wham. And then the mistake I made was I thought I overfished the spot, and then I went clear over to another cove further down, and there was nothing down there because the water was so low that the normal places that I would fish there before there was nothing. So then I went back where I was, but didn't do any good. And then once that wind came up, there was no more, the top waters weren't working.
Yeah, that wind was, it wasn't as bad as what they said it was going to be, but it did have some gusts there that got pretty serious, right? Then
I caught a huge carp that ruined my fish line, and so that pole was useless.
Ron, how long have you been fishing tournament?
The first one I had was when they had a tournament at Wellington Lake. Back in, I had a little sit-in Old Town kayak that I started out with, and I used to fish out of canoes all the time, and then I decided to go to kayak, but that's been a while.
Were you ever in the bass boat world?
I never owned a bass boat, no.
Gotcha.
But,
so it's just been in the kayaks.
Yeah, power. I had, ski boats and stuff when the kids were young, but
That's awesome.
rowboats and canoes, and then I went to the kayak. Mainly, I went to the kayak because it's easier to get into the water around here in Colorado,
Right.
and so it's that's why it is. And then I got started on the kayak fishing club, and I was hooked after that.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Well, you've been a staple since my day one of getting into kayak fishing. I've seen you out there. You and I, we run into each other every now and again, fish in different lakes, and say, it's always been awesome out there. So, brother, this is so cool to see that you're going to be heading down with these two young guns here, these two pups that you're heading down.
I do have a question for you, Ron. So I'm 45, and the next day I felt like my arm was going to fall off. So what is it? Is it stretching? Like, what do I need to do? Keep doing it as long as you.
Well, I think the big thing is, I had a bout of cancer, and after I went through all the chemo and all that stuff, and they got that all squared away, I don't. I'll have a beer once in a while, but I don't drink a bunch of stuff, and there's no way I do any smoking. So and then just try to watch your diet and keep up the exercise. Like my aunt used to tell me is just keep moving, and that's what I do. Keeps me out of trouble.
That's right, Paul. No booze and cigarettes anymore for you, pal. Gotta throw all that stuff out of there.
Right might kill me. I have the zingers for breakfast every morning for turning.
Yeah,
working out for me.
I feel you on that, Paul, because I had a little bit of the casting elbow myself, because I was throwing a crankbait till I was blue in the face, and then of course I actually did catch a couple fish on the spook. So when I was throwing that, over top of the bait balls that were blowing up, and so my arm was the same there. So I see Ron getting his kayak in and out of stuff and getting out there fishing all day. And I'll tell you, man, it's an inspiration to watch you operate, buddy. So this is so cool.
Well, the hardest part was loading it in. I used to carry it in the back of the pickup with a T-bar on there, because I had a Old Town Predator, the 13 foot one, and I sold that in the spring, and got this smaller one, and and then I started carrying it on the trailer. But it's sometimes I wish I had at least the 120 PDL, but because this one it does okay, and if you get in rough water, it's kind of touch and go, but the motor helps.
Good stuff. Yeah, the motor really does, man. It brings in it brings in a level of safety, especially out there, because if your ability to get in and out of situations a lot faster than just paddling. Not everybody has a Hobie. Not everybody has that kind of pedal drive system that can take off and fly. So it's like having an alternative, to that, to be able to get in and out of stuff quickly. That is certainly a help for sure. Paul, now you run out of a Hobie there. Are you trailer launched? Are you coming right out of the back of your truck?
I actually run a native.
You have a native?
Air Max, yeah.
How did I not know that? I thought you had a blue Hobie.
I have a gray and black native Slayer Max.
Dude, you were so stealth that I'm not even noticing the guy that's taking all my money.
This is the first year I've upgraded my kayak in a long time. Usually I just buy Jason's hand-me-downs.
When did you meet Jason? Because there is a cool connection you guys have, and that is a whole pile of fishing information between the two of you, man.
Yeah, we met when I moved out to Colorado 17 years ago. So we worked at the same place. So we came in, quick friends right there. Because we both kind of took up fishing. So, and we got into kayaking a little bit for the club, and we were both kind of there at Chatfield when the group for CKFC decided to go into tournaments. So we were kind of standing there with Johnny and all them, and yeah, let's do this. And because we were, fishing nerds, just want to get into it. So that's kind of where it all started.
That is so cool. That is so cool. You know, and it's, I say this all the time, man, having the two clubs in the state, it is so awesome because there's overlap there, but there's also, you know, a little bit different feel at each one of them, but not for nothing. The chance to go fish Bassmaster, you know, that's where the CKB, you know, locks in. They're the Bass affiliate. A little bit more stringent on the rule sets, you know, because we got to follow what Bass sets out for us. But nevertheless, man, it definitely attracts. I do tell a lot of the new guys out there, hey, would love to have you in there, but you may not want to come in because these guys are killers. They're nice killers, but they're killers, and they'll take your damn money and smile at you in the process. And you know, it's a cool deal to see now. Matt, you've been fishing in Colorado how long now?
Well, it's a loaded question, so to speak. So moved here in 94-ish and came from Missouri. So my background growing up was a lot of bass fishing. So came out here and, that was when I was 10. So sort of at the mercy of parents and those kind of things. And my dad was under the impression that in general, Colorado's not a bass state. And realistically, relative to Texas or somewhere like that, it's
or Missouri,
not a bass state. Yeah, well, or that. But didn't really realize there were any bass out here for a while. Finally got back into it probably right after college. So that would have been 07-ish time frame. Hooked up with a guy that was kind of connected to DBM, Denver Bassmasters, and kind of slowly got back into the bass fishing. Didn't really take off with tournament stuff for a minute, and realized that I did not enjoy being a co-angler. There were some great folks in DBM, but you're sort of at the mercy of whoever your boater is.
That's a hard hustle, man. Co-angling. I don't care where you're at. That's a hard hustle.
So I had a mix. So there was James Francis was in that club. When I got paired up with him, it was like, hey, come up here. We're going fishing, as a group. And on top of that, he's going fishing for big fish. Got paired with a few people that just got super excited about catching 9-inchers at Pueblo, and I'm like, okay, guys, it's just not going to work. So decided that the kayak thing was the game, and took me a while to get to a pedal kayak, and so it's been a slow but fun journey to the kayak world.
So has Pueblo always been a favorite of yours down there, or is it just like any other lake?
Yeah, I don't know that Pueblo is my favorite. My parents moved down there in 07. And so for me, the tournaments that were held down there, I had free room and board. And so that was the real draw. Stay with my parents. I can pass off the kids when they were little and give the wife a break and go fishing. So that was the biggest draw.
Are those the kids behind you there, man?
What's that?
Are those the kids behind you on the wall there?
Yeah, that's probably when they did actually go down to my parents. They're 11 and 13 now, so those are a little bit older pictures.
Well, it's good to see that they got their looks from their mother, because they are very cute children. So
yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
we got some guys.
That joke last time I was on here, so you're again. Yeah.
That I'm gonna. Hey, if the stuff works, we're gonna reuse it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Our 15 viewers, they forget quickly. Speaking of viewers, we got some guys tuning in through Facebook. Mr. Craig McMillan, what's happening, Craig? Good to see you, buddy. He was out there with us for sure. And of course, Matt Flanagan, as we were talking about the buzz baits and such, these MFers, I was throwing a buzz bait and frog all day and only managed 68. Seriously, awesome job, boys. Can't wait to see what you do at Fork. Good stuff. I mean, it always seems that way, right? It's like, you You can throw a white jig with a chartreuse trailer and catch one fish, and the guy comes in and wins it, goes, yeah, I was throwing a white jig with a chartreuse trailer and won the dang thing. It always seems to cash out that way. Mr. Jason Lovell driving through Pennsylvania or Nebraska somewhere right about now in his rig says, way to go, guys. Killer job. Oh, here's a good through Facebook, a way to keep in shape, Paul. Craig says 12-ounce curls work.
Let's try that.
Right? And, of course, MC Hammer himself, Mr. Matt Collins, out there. Congrats, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in with us here. So, Paul, there's a common denominator between the 2024 state champ at Colorado and the 2025 state champ, and that is you both hail from Missouri and you came to Colorado. You guys, like, what, same high school, fished against each other? What's the deal here?
I don't know. There's definitely a fishing culture in Missouri, I would say.
Yes, there is.
Areas, in spring, crappie fishing, turkey hunting, being out on the lakes. I mean, it's a way of life in the streams in the Ozarks where I grew up fishing. So I'm not surprised that several people come out here or anywhere and have success when you get that kind of rich culture of fishing, which they have here too, but it's a little different.
It is. It's a different culture for sure, but you're right. It is in Missouri there. I don't know what it is. When I first started going to the Ozarks and getting down there, I felt at home. And I've said this several times before. When I cross that state border, every time I feel like I'm coming home. There's something about that area I love. Those lakes kick my butt 6 ways to Sunday, but I still love fishing down there. I love the people down there. I love the area. It's just awesome. And you're right. It's a way of life. It's not an odd thing, that someone goes bass fishing. You know what I mean? But for sure. Mr. Bricklin here joining us from YouTube says, hey, congrats, guys. Appreciate it. Good stuff. So, Paul, Pueblo was a favorite before this. Is it a favorite now? Where do you rate Pueblo Reservoir against the other lakes in the state?
I mean, I think my favorite is probably Trinidad, but as far as like diversity of species and size and being able to get away from other anglers and find your own thing, Pueblo's probably the best for that. When we look at tournaments, I think next year both groups are potentially looking at going there twice. Weather-wise, I mean, it's probably our best lake in the state. I think that's hard to argue. Favorite? Not necessarily my favorite, but you're probably not going to have a bad time when you go there.
That's awesome. That's good stuff. So let's go ahead and turn our focus, gentlemen. Lake Fork. Ron, let's start with you. Have you been to Lake Fork before? Have you ever fished it, or have you fished any Texas lake waters before?
I've fished Lake Fork probably 4 times, and I caught my personal best there in it was a Mariner Sales tournament that they had. Been a few years back. But I've got some experience on Lake Fork, and I know places not to go. So it's last year, I think, what was the tournament that I was there, but I didn't do very good on it. But
didn't they have a native no limit down there at Fork last year? Didn't they do that?
Yeah, I think that was the tournament, and I didn't do very good pre-fishing. Pre-fishing I caught a couple, and come tournament day I didn't do very good. But I've got experience with Lake Fork. I'm looking forward to going down there again.
Matt, any experience on Fork for you prior to this, and how do you think it sets up for your way of fishing?
Absolutely zero experience. So how it sets up is a little bit of an ignorant answer. My limited kind of just hearsay, what you know of the BASS events, says that it should be spawn time. That's a great time down in Texas. I've fished in Texas before, but not anything exactly like Fork. But it should be, big baits. So I love that aspect of throwing a glide bait, a rat, a frog, a swim bait. Those type of things are fun. I'm not necessarily an expert at them, but I do enjoy them. So I'm hoping I get to do a little bit of that, and that I also don't see too many alligators.
Right. Paul, have you been down to Fork before? If so, what are your thoughts on it?
I think I went to that same Mariner turn and caught my PB there. And then I went to I think it was a March tournament there for bass, and took a top 10 there. So I would agree. I think they'll be on, I don't know, because I don't fish down there all the time, but I would assume they'd be on beds, and that's where I was picking them off beds last time I was there.
That's awesome stuff. And a lot of that depends on what weather we get between now and then, and what, early spring, late spring, what's going on. Obviously, we'll have to wait and see from some of that. Oh, and Craig tunes in here from Facebook. Hey, don't worry, Craig. I just asked him exactly, except not the lures. And obviously the lures question will depend on probably what they see down there. Do you, each cast at Lake Fork, man, is a chance at a PB, right? I mean, that place is known as a big bass factory. I mean, does that change your approach up at all, or Paul, or are you just going to go out, put your head down and go to work like you normally would?
It definitely changes my gear. I probably, like the tournament just here in Pueblo, I was using an 1/8 ounce buzz bait on a medium light rod. So that just won't play and down there. So I'm definitely more on the finesse side of this thing. Like most of the tournaments I won on BFS this year, that you just can't get them out of the grass down there, and so that it'll be more heavy rods and medium heavy, and so my tackle will definitely go way up, because the grass is intense down there compared to here.
Well, if you boys need some broomsticks, I got a whole rod locker full of them, because that's all I fished with out of Minnesota. Leading into this, I had to put most of those away to learn how to fish here. So Matt, you're excited with with the big bait side you said there. I mean, picking up the big jig, the braided line, getting after it.
Yeah, I don't throw a jig that much. I mean, I throw more of a finesse jig more often than not. Something, the one I was using this weekend was a Beast Coast one. I'll still throw like a 1/2 or 5/8, something heavier, but it's downsized, because when you're catching smallmouth, they just don't get. I don't come across as many of them with like a monster presentation or a big mop jig or something like that. But topwater's fun. I assume the topwater bite's going to be existent, even if it's not killer. But yeah, hoping. And I would assume that the bare minimum size line I'm using down there is 14 and nothing smaller than that.
Ron, how woody is it? We know the grass is super thick down there, but what is the brush and lay down situation? Is it full of deadheads down there, or is it just kind of sporadic?
There's a lot of logs all over the place, and that's the one thing you got to watch out for. Just navigating around. There's been a lot of people that broke their drives hitting on them logs, but I would think that that time of the year, I might go with like throwing shaky heads or something.
Yeah, a bedfish. Heck yeah.
Yeah, we'll see and how it goes, but never know till you get there and kind of check it out and see how it goes. But there's a lot of logs all over the place.
Bring your spare props. I broke mine going out that morning, and Jason went to a different ramp, so my spare prop was in his truck. So I limped around that whole day, just kind of paddling around trying to get in the coves to fish. So bring a spare. That's my recommendation.
What makes it nice is some of them logs you could tie a rope onto and it'll hold you in place.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that's having the spare gear with you is always a deal. I get that
Yeah.
FOMO. I get that FOMO thing. So you look at my truck these days and got, spare props, I got spare electronics, I got all kinds of stuff in there just in case I need to do any type of repair, on the deal. So for sure, and the three of you are going down representing CKB. And I mean, the three of you may not have, chatted a lot before other than just around the awards, this and that. But I highly, highly encourage you guys are going representing the state of Colorado. Work, where you can together leading up to it, and it's like Ron said, he can tell you where not to go. That's eliminating water is a good thing, man, because sometimes that's as valuable as finding them, is knowing that over there sucks and we're not finding, those kind of things. But yeah, I'm excited to watch what the three of you can do when you get down there and go to work representing for the state of Colorado and of course the Colorado Kayak Bassmasters. Man, this is going to be exciting to watch you guys unfold. We're going to be there at the Bassmaster Classic on our media pass again. The TPO podcast will be there. I'm going to try to talk with Amped Outdoors. If Matt, if you're watching, I'm going to be giving you a ring because I'd like to actually shoot a couple episodes right from their booth at the Classic itself, do a couple, live spots right out of the Amped Outdoors booth. And of course we're going to be covering the awards for the kayak deal. And if the drive isn't too out off of where the Classic's at, then we'll be trying to cover maybe day 1, day 2, whatever. It's tough to catch the kayak guys and the boat guys because the only media boats they supply are for the boat guys. So we're not big enough yet that we get a media boat that the media guys can actually jump in and follow, around from there. So, but yeah, man, I'll tell you this, after going to the Classic for the first time last year, it is a once in a lifetime, experience. It's a cool deal, man. It's going to be set up and, yeah, they pull out all the stops here. A couple more coming in. We got Matt Collins from YouTube saying, Ron, have fun in Texas. Put those young kids over your knee and give them the belt. Love it. Love it. Craig's got a good question here. Will each guy pre-fish 2 or 3 days? Any thoughts on that yet as far as, or is it still too early to be able to kind of pace that together? Paul, what are you thinking? What's your normal setup for a good practice? What do you like to try to give yourself?
I mean, normally just a day, but an event like this, I would think probably 2 to 3. I mean, 2 to 3 minimum.
Yeah.
We're down there for the whole week, so leading into it.
It's a good sized body of water too. So
yeah, it could take a lifetime, right? So you want to give yourself as much time as possible to find something.
Matt, what are you thinking? What's it looking like for your schedule?
Well, this is where everybody looks at me a little bit sideways. And that, if I fish like the max amount they allow, or it's usually a week before, something like that. Or even if it's 5 days, to fish those 5 days of practice and then 2 days of tournament. When I get to tournament day, I'm done. Like, I'm not having fun anymore. This is work.
Yep.
Yeah, that person. So a lake like this, I prefer that I have 2.5 days where I haven't been at all. Truman that we go to every year for All American, because we've been there so many times and it's the same time of year that, I don't like to burn as much of my water while I'm there. This feels like there's so much to learn that probably try and drive Saturday, Sunday, and then be on the water like part of Sunday and then Monday, Tuesday before fishing.
I get that, man. And a lot of that time too is checking ramps, driving around, making sure you got your travel time figured out. You got to know that for the tournament morning. I hate going to a place on launching from a spot on tournament day that I've not launched from. You know what I mean? It's like I like to know the ramp, I've done it, but just because it's my gut spidey sense says go here, and then I'm like, why in the hell did I do that? Ron, what's your perfect practice setup, buddy? What kind of time do you like to give yourself?
At least 2 days, of practice to kind of figure it out, bare minimum, and just to go to different spots to check it out. And you don't have to stay there a long time to pre-fish, just to kind of look around and find the spot where you could go come tournament day that's going to be productive. So a couple of days, and I don't know, maybe we could get together and figure out some kind of an agenda.
Absolutely. You guys, if you can save money, in any way with an Airbnb or anything along those lines, man, I highly suggest do it. Make it, as easy on life as possible with schedule, finances, the whole 9 yards. That way you guys can just take in the event, man, and just be there, live in that event, go have fun. And then, of course, be looking forward to chatting with you guys at the Classic. Make time in your schedules for that, too. When you get done with the National Championship, come over to the Classic Expo, hang out, so we can get some interviews. We got some great pictures last year with the three down there. Of course, Chen was off fanboying with somebody, but we got him in the picture eventually.
Yeah. If you don't show up, you get a shirtless pic somehow.
Right. Photoshop will go into action at that point.
So I was going to add that, Gene, a couple things there. So we did, I already kicked off the Facebook group because I'm somewhat of an over planner. So the rest of you, if you're annoyed with me, tell me to shut up. But got the Facebook group going there's 5 of us that are going from Colorado, technically. Jason Lovell and Josh Gardner are going from their other qualifiers in Nebraska and Wyoming. So hopefully there'll be that group in the Airbnb. And then the way we kind of did it last year was loosely set up that you're sharing enough info. Like, hey, I went to this ramp, check this out, etc. Without just saying, this is exactly what you need to do in this exact spot, so that you're kind of learning from each other, but not necessarily, not that you're giving them secrets, but you don't want to influence too much what someone's learning as they're going through their practice. And then it's an absolute must to go to the expo if you enjoy anything about new lures or professional, the big bass guys, like getting a picture with KVD and Jacob Wheeler and Travis Pastrana of all people last year was just fun, even though like I didn't finish the event great, I wasn't grumpy in the least bit. I'm like, hey, I get to go hang out with people that I watched on TV or read about in magazines growing up. So super fun. Got to do that.
That's awesome stuff, man. And you're right. If you've been fishing in tournaments for any amount of time, one of the things you will learn quickly is the worst thing you can do is try to do the exact thing that someone tells you they're doing to catch fish. That's the worst thing you can do. And I'm not saying that in with anything other than just pure truth to be told. Unless you have found it, unless you have done it, and unless it's your comfort zone, you've got to go find that. You've got to go find and earn this. That it's the funny thing about that respect and the skill sets when it comes to fishing. And that is, there's no shortcut. You have to go do it. You know what I mean? I've seen so many guys, oh, dude, you just go to this hole and you throw this and that's all you need to do. And I've watched guys do that and they come back with nothing because it wasn't their style. It wasn't their find. They had no confidence in that. So yeah, you got to put in the work. But you're right, man. Just hearing, sometimes you'll pick up little things, here and there, like, hey, what I was finding, grass was in play, man. They were, everything that I was catching today was in the grass, something that can key you off to your area to, well, maybe I should spend a little bit more time in the grass in the area that I'm in. And a lot of times that can help. So yeah, awesome wisdom there for sure. Gentlemen, is there anything, actually, let's give a special shout out because the kid had himself, we're going to have him on the show. We'll get it back on. But Josh Gardner, man, Sterling Gardner, whatever he goes by, Josh or Sterling at the store, Josh to the rest of us. Mr. Gardner, this young man has had an epic season, man. He put on one heck of a show. And yeah, Jason Lovell was right there with him to the end. Pueblo was the deciding factor that levied that out, but Josh had a hell of a season. He is your 2024 CKB Angler of the Year. That's the one thing that Paul Roth didn't win, was the CKB Angler of the Year. He won pretty much everything else except that.
You guys get a chance, you got to check out his rig. It looks like a spaceship.
Right? Yeah, he trashed his stuff last year, so he come back with a vengeance this year. Kid is like, he is the pinnacle of the new age bass angler, right? Of what it looks like. That is good. It just makes it even sweeter when you beat him, though. You know what I mean? Makes you feel better, especially if you're doing it with like a 7-inch striker, from Garvin.
You're in trouble when they're young, because if they're that good now, what is he going to be?
Right? Yeah, I have a feeling we're going to be seeing him for sure. But that's the cool thing about our sport, though, Ron. You can attest to this. It's year to year, man. Our sport is built on momentum, and you just never know. Sometimes you're the Paul Roth, then some years you're the Gene Campbell. You just never know how it's going to go for you. We're on like polar opposite ends of the spectrum, Paul, you and me. So Good stuff. Well, listen, gentlemen, I want to thank each and every one of you for taking your time tonight to come on the first episode here of season 5. This has been an awesome way to kick off our new season 5 here and getting things rolling. I said this before. I'll say it again. The Anglers of Colorado is who put the TPO on the map. It's who put our podcast on the map about 3.5 years ago. And that's why we always want to hold homage there and cover what's going on out here. So if ever there's information going on with Colorado anglers, out there, we want to try to definitely have you guys on. The Colorado Kayak Fishing Club, the Colorado Kayak Bassmasters, 2 great clubs that we get a chance to compete in. And so that's super cool. Boys, you're going to go down there, a team of 5 from the area, from the West. Go down there to Texas and bring a whole, what they used to say in Colorado a long time ago when someone asked, how do you get to Texas? A long time ago in Colorado, they used to tell them, well, you head south. When you smell crap, you're in Oklahoma. When you step in it, you're in Texas, So go down there and bring them some Colorado justice down there.
We're going down to make friends, is what you're saying.
Right, exactly. They have a great sense of humor down there.
I'm trying one of those 12-ounce curls. I'll ask somebody that and see what they think.
Bring them some Bud Light and White Claw. They love that. Well, awesome stuff. Thank you guys so much. Is there any special shout outs any of you guys want to give before we wrap things up here? No? Cricket? All right.
Just thanks to the clubs for everything. It's been it's all volunteer. People, I know Matt's volunteered. I'm finally going to do it. I've been lazy ass to volunteer, but coming to tournaments, participating, a lot of, it takes a lot of time and effort from everyone and being away from their family. So I appreciate everyone that's made my little dream a fun kind of thing. So,
well, speaking of, we got him in just at the very last second here. Is about ready to wrap the show. Mr. Jimmy Straws, how you doing, buddy?
Good. Hey guys, I'm sorry. I had the week off down there and I'm getting back to work and it was crazy. I tried to get on sooner. I know you guys are wrapping up. I won't keep you much longer. I just want to say congratulations to you 3. Go down there and get them. I think we got some good dudes representing CKB. Let's not forget Levi Barks qualified through Wyoming. So we're actually sending 6 of us. So we're going to have, you 3, Jason, Levi, and Josh Gardner going down. So best of luck to all you guys. Gene, thank you for all you do for CKB and all that stuff. We appreciate all the media and all the coverage. So I just wanted to hop on real quick and say thank you.
That's right. A team of 6. You guys, I mean,
it's
like a SEAL team going down. You know what I'm saying?
I like it. I like it. CKB Seam Tail 6. What am I trying to say? Help me out here.
I think you're trying to say changing lives forever.
Forever.
I think that's what you're trying to say.
Changing lives forever. So, all right, guys. Like I said, I'm sorry to jump in late, but I just wanted to come in and say thank you.
We appreciate it, brother. We appreciate it. All right, boys. Well, I'm sure we'll have you back on as we get closer to March, as it's coming up here. If anything cool happens out there, Ron, if you find some more lures in the bushes, you grab those damn things, because
I'm always looking.
All right. I love it. Thank you guys so very much. Stick with me here after we roll out of this here, and we'll say our parting messages. Folks, make sure to smash that subscribe button here if you like the content, if you support the mission that we're on at the very beginning of this. Smash that subscribe button on YouTube, pretty please. That is a great way to support us and help out. Don't forget, November 9th, November 10th, Pueblo Reservoir. The TPO's going back. We got our Veterans Day weekend camping and fishing. Vets, kayak anglers, vets. First responders or active military. If you haven't got signed up yet, please do. Get signed up. Come fish with us for a day, Saturday or Sunday, or both. Come camp with us. We're going to have food there. Registration for this event closes on November 3rd, so that way we make sure we've got enough kayaks for those who don't have them, and to make sure that we got enough food to feed everybody through the weekend there. So come join us down there. TPO, it's free to vets, and Santa Claus is going to be on hand, y'all. Check out the latest post there. Santa's going to be there fishing with us. We're going to get him out in a kayak. Santa's got some media work to get done, so he thought this would be a great deal to be involved in. So if you got family, you got kids you want to bring down there, bring them on down and go fishing with old St. Nick. That'll be awesome. And Militia Marine is going to be getting involved out of Fountain. They're going to come down to help us out. For those individuals who the kayak might not be your cup of tea, Militia's going to have a boat on hand to take you out there and go fishing at the same time. So it's going to be a cool deal. We're starting to rally a bunch of stuff behind. So go get signed up. Check out the True Patriot Outfitters socials. You'll find our form right there. DM me, hit me up, however you want to do it. That's it. We're done. We're going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. Gentlemen, love you guys. Thank you so very much for a great season, a great event. TPO's out.